Hello everyone! Today we will knit socks. I have read the instructions which came with the machine and I made this very strange sock. It is so sharp and pointy, it has many holes and I even broke a few needles while making it. Then I watched a few tutorials and I instantly get better at making socks. You can see the difference in the toe section, it is very nice and round. My next try still has many holes. With each following attempt, the hole became smaller and smaller. And finally on the last sock there was a teeny tiny hole. After so many failed attempts, I suddenly reinvented the wheel and figured out how to do it. You can reuse the yarn from these socks. I'm using cotton yarn and I love it, it is very soft. Using the orange tool, I will unpick the last 8 stitches and then I will wind the yarn on the bobbin winder. I can make new socks or use the yarn in other projects. Now let's prepare the machine. Make sure the racking handle is down. First you have to put 72 needles into working position. 36 to the left and 36 to the right. Then put 72 needles in working position on the back bed. The leftmost needle must be on the front bed and the rightmost needle must be on the back bed. Place the edge springs on the last needles. Use the comb and put every other needle out of working position starting from the second needle on the left. Now slide the needles down. I am raising them all the way because it's easier to set them correctly and you can easily spot a mistake. Then do the same on the back bed, but start from the first needle on the left. It must be out of working position. When you are ready, slide the needles down. Turn the racking handle to 12 o'clock. It should look like this. I have already threaded the machine. For the socks I will use the same cotton yarn. Now let's set up the locks for the cast-on. Move the lever to N, set the stitch size to 1.5 and move the last dial to C. Set the same settings on the back lock. Insert the orange strippers. Make sure the row counter is clear and knit 1 row. It should look like this. Move the lever to X and set the stitch size to 2.5 on both locks. Then you have to knit 2 rows. Now it should look like this. To finish the cast-on, move the lever to N and increase the stitch size to 3 3/4 on both locks. Then knit 1 row. This row will be stiff to knit, so you must push hard. This is the cast on. Clear the row counter and knit 48 rows with the same settings. Use the double-end bodkin tool to transfer the right half of the needles on the front bed to the empty needles on the back bed. This is how it should look like. The needles from 1 to 36 are transferred to the back bed. Thread the eye of the double-end bodkin tool with contrasting color yarn and take the remaining stitches from both beds. To find the first stitch which you must take, raise the first needle on the main bed and take the stitch from the first needle to the left on the back bed. Now you can see it close up. Then take the next stitch from the main bed and all the remaining stitches in a zigzag manner. Pull the knob to lower the main bed and turn the fabric piece as shown in the video. Attach a weight to the fabric on the back bed to keep the stitches on the hooks. Use the double-end bodkin tool to attach the stitches onto the needles. If you have a transferring comb, you will be ready in seconds. I don't have one and this is the method I use. When all the stitches are attached, raise the main bed and pull the needles back to working position. Note that all the stitches must be into the hooks and not behind the latches. If there are a few stitches behind the latches, use the tool to return them into the hooks. Don't forget to set all the empty needles from both beds out of working position. Now you can attach another weight to the front part of the knitting. Move the lever to CX and set the stitch size to 5 1/4 on both locks. Then remove the orange strippers and insert the black ones. Knit a total of 52 rows. This is the second section of the sock. And here comes the tricky part. To make the heel, set the front lock to BX and the back lock to GX. The stitch size will remain the same. Under every needle in working position, raise one pusher only on the main bed. You must have a total of 36 needles and 36 pushers on the front bed. Put the first pusher on the right in its resting position and knit one row. Now put the pusher on the left in its resting position and knit one row. Remove the edge spring on the right, take the yarn from the lock, insert it into the hook of the first needle, close the latch and return the edge spring. Then put the second pusher on the right into its resting position and knit one row. Put the second pusher on the left into its resting position, remove the edge spring and insert the yarn from the lock into the hook of the leftmost needle. Return the edge spring into its place, knit one row and repeat these steps. Put the third pusher into its resting position, then take the yarn from the lock, insert it into the hook of the second needle and knit one row. Same on the left, put the third pusher in its resting position and insert the yarn into the hook of the second needle, then knit one row. Now put the fourth pusher into its resting position and insert the yarn into the third needle's hook. Knit one row and repeat the same on other side. When you get used to it, you can do it pretty quickly. Lower the main bed carefully and place weights to pull the yarn away from the needles, otherwise you can break one of them. Repeat the same steps until there are 15 pushers in working position and the lock is on the left. Put the leftmost working pusher into its resting position and insert the yarn into the needle. Raise the first pusher, which is in resting position, on the right side and knit one row. Now the lock must be on the right side. Put the first pusher on the left in working position, then take the yarn from the lock and insert it into the needle above the first pusher, which is into its resting position. Knit one row, put the next pusher on the right into working position, then take the yarn from the lock and insert it into the hook of the needle which is above the first pusher in resting position. Knit one row and repeat. Put one pusher into working position on the left and insert the yarn into the hook of the needle on the right. Then knit one row, raise the next pusher on the right and insert the yarn from the lock into the hook of the needle on the left. It's tricky, but it's not hard at all. The yarn goes in the direction of the lock and you can't insert it into the hook from the wrong side. And you always have to raise the pusher which is on the opposite side of the lock. At first you will probably make a few mistakes, but this is the process of learning. I made about 10 socks before filming the video, and now when editing it I found a few mistakes which I tried to edit out. Repeat these steps until only one pusher on the left remains in its resting position. At this point the lock must be on the right side. Instead of raising the last pusher, put all of them into resting position and let's change the settings on the locks. Set CX on both locks and knit 2 rows. If you have done everything correctly, the row counter will show a total of 43 rows. Press the button to reset it and knit 140 rows without changing the settings. Now we have to make the decreases for the toe section. Remove the edge springs and take this tool. At each end on the front and back bed, move the 2 end stitches 1 needle in. The stitches must be attached to the hooks, don't pull them behind the latches. After transferring them, make sure all the empty needles are out of working position and knit 4 rows. Repeat these steps 5 more times. Every time after transferring the stitches, remove all the empty needles. At the last row, the row counter must be at 24. Then continue decreasing the same way, but when you transfer the stitches, knit only 2 rows. You have to repeat these steps until there are 4 needles on each bed. After you knit the last 2 rows, you can cut the yarn from the lock. Thread it in the double-end bodkin tool and take the 8 remaining stitches. You can take all the stitches on the main bed first and then these on the back bed, like in a circle. In the video I'm taking the stitches in a zigzag manner. Don't forget to remove the weights because they can hit you while removing the sock. So this is the sock we made. This is the welt. This is the second section. The heel. The last section and the toe. Take the yarn tail from the toe and thread it into a needle. Make a loop and pass the needle twice through it, then pull the yarn and cut the end using scissors. You can make the loop from the inside so it will be completely invisible. Now the last thing to do is to sew the welt. The way you perform this step will determine if the final result will look homemade or handmade. You can skip this part of the video and check the final results. I warn you that I'm not good at hand sewing. I will use the yarn from the beginning. To make it invisible, you must use the mattress stitch, which is shown in the instructional book. now you can see the picture from the book. I can't explain how to do it, and as you can see in the video, my results are not seamless. You have to somehow pull the needle through the horizontal loops or something like that. In the end, pull the yarn inside, make a loop and pass the needle twice through it. It can be better, but it's not so bad for a first try. Also, the video is meant to show you how to use the machine, and it's not a sewing tutorial. To fix the curly edge, take a needle, pass it through the stitches on the top row and pull it gently. Don't iron the welt, because you can ruin it. And here is the final result. For more sock testing, check my OnlyFans. No, I'm joking, I won't do this. You're the OnlyFans I have. Hope you like the final result. If you make socks using this video, I will be happy to see your photos on my Facebook page. That's all for today. Have a nice day and see you in my next video. By the way, my bracelet broke and this is my first video without it.